I'm Peter McHenry. I'm a professor of economics at William & Mary. I am very fortunate to be the person who teaches Econ 101, Principles of Microeconomics, to students who are just starting college. And there are several of us who teach that course, but it's a course I've taught my whole career and I love teaching, and I want to keep teaching it. And one of the reasons is I get to be the person who introduces to students what economics is, what it can be, what it can do. I try to do whatever it takes to understand a student where they are and try to figure out how best to get them the understanding that I really want them to have. And so that involves a lot of listening. So when a student comes to my office, a lot of times they might not know exactly what they're confused about or what they need. And I certainly don't know what they're confused about and what they need. And so they ask a question, and often I'll find that students ask a question sort of halfway and then stop. And they're expecting me to start a monologue. And I intentionally don't. And I ask a follow-up question. I try to figure out what's the thing that you really need to know, that you really want to know. How can I help you today? Rather than getting into my monologue and what I want, where are you and where do you need to be next? And so I'll ask a couple follow-up questions. And sometimes it can cause students to be a little uncomfortable because candidly, they're kind of comfortable with the monologue sometimes. I step back, somebody lectures at me, I nod my head and move on. And they've learned something, but I'm guessing that they could learn more if I can target what they need in a better way. And so listening, understanding where they are and where they need to be is a big part of the pedagogy that I think about all the time. I think I've developed some listening skills, certainly from the practice that I've gotten. I've heard from students when they didn't understand something. I was able to ask questions and recognize when the answers weren't right. Well, where's the disconnect here? And I've seen enough disconnects so that I can start to see patterns and see, oh, they tend not to understand this particular idea that I want them to know. And so I'll slow down, I'll have something like a role-playing exercise or a game that really brings home this point. And then we can move on and do something else. And those games, exercises, they take a while. And if you do them in class, it takes up valuable class time, but it's worth it, I think, to teach very solidly, very well, a smaller number of things, rather than racing through a really long list of things. At least in the classes that I teach, I think I've found that to be the case.